Good morning and welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 25th May 2020. Day is Monday. I'm sure you all have enjoyed your weekend. I would like to start today's discussion with this scientific technique called as if. Now, if you act as if you are interested in doing something that is very necessary, but you feel a bit of friction, like I'll give you one example of newspapers. Now, there are many students I know, they feel a bit of friction, they feel a bit difficult, they struggle to read newspapers. They know that reading newspaper is very important for your competitive exam, but then as well they feel that, they don't feel that great. I don't know why, but their mind is resisting reading newspaper. So is there any way out? Yes, there is a way out, and that is as if. So if you act as if you are interested in reading newspaper or reading polity or maybe science, geography, doing exercise, you can apply this thing to anything you like. So if you act as if you are interested in that particular thing, that bit of acting will tend to make your interest real. You have to give it a go. I want you guys, if you are feeling something like that, then do give it a go to this as if. Dear friends, we have designed a smart course for Civil Services Examination. We are providing you two choices. The first one is this one. Till 31st May, you can purchase this smart course and your installment amount will be 4,000. Then the second one will be of 5,000, third one of 5,000, and the fourth one will be of 5,800. From 1st June, it's going to be 6,000, 6,000 and 8,000. So if you want to make the most out of this offer, 31st May is the last date. Make sure you download our application on your phone today itself. I have already shared the PDF of today's lecture on my Telegram channel. You can follow me on Facebook. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today we have 6 articles on our table. The first one is very interesting one coming from Times of India. The second one is coming from newspaper called Mint. This one is about China. And rest 4 articles are from the Hindu newspaper. The first one, the South India model. The interesting thing about the southern states of our country, South Indian states, the best performer as far as this coronavirus is concerned is Kerala. Kerala has over 800 COVID cases, yet so far only 4 have died because of COVID-19. Mortality in other states is far higher. Worst performer is Gujarat. Now, Gujarat is, known as Gad, or a sort of fort of BJP. And I'm being a little bit political here. Just saying political or being political does not mean that I'm anti-BJP or pro-Congress, the things. But I'm just giving you some examples here because that's what this article is all about, right? Now, in the past, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister as well as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, both of them have described, Kerala as not that great. And again, this were their political statements, not official statements. They were, talking politics when they were issuing this sort of, or when they were delivering this sort of political statements. But today, Kerala is internationally acclaimed because it has handled this COVID-19, and earlier on it has handled this Nipah very well. Now we have talked about the strengths or the positive sides of Kerala. Something similar applies to other southern states as well. If you see the performance of Tamil Nadu, it's doing great, right? The mortality rate is relatively under control. If cases are going up, that's not a matter of concern, right? If cases are going up, that means tests are being conducted in your state or in your area. The real success lies in your mortality rate. If mortality rate is down, that means you are doing good. If tests are going up, more numbers are coming out, and if mortality rate is going up, that means you are not providing that necessary facilities in your state to those patients who are infected by coronavirus and who are suffering from COVID-19. Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, all this Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, all these southern states are doing quite well. If you see 2019's World Bank Niti Aayog health performance, then as well you will find Kerala and Tamil Nadu, they were right at the top of the ladder. Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar, they were in the bottom. Well, we all know this fact in our country that when it comes to education, when it comes to healthcare facilities, southern states, particularly Kerala and other states, they are doing reasonably well compared to northern states. And there are two main reasons behind it. And these are the two things that we are going to discuss in detail. These are the two most important things. This is the main, I would say, these two items are main key behind their success. First one is stable political competition between parties, and the second one is an assertive citizenry. If you see northern states like Congress, right? Congress has ruled most of the northern states for like 50 years, somewhere around 50 years it has ruled. So there was a pure monopoly of Congress in northern India. I'll give you example of Gujarat. Gujarat is ruled by BJP from last 22 years. So if you observe those states who are ruled by one particular political party, one particular ideology for a very long period of time, you will find that governance will deteriorate. When they come in power, they are great performers, right? Next year they will perform a little bit okay, and then you will see a drop in their performance, because they know this thing that herd mentality is working very well for them. Herd mentality is a situation where people, right, people, they vote for a particular political party for a very long period of time, and for decades, the party remains in office, and then we know that their performance deteriorates. So both monopoly and fragmentation acted as a barriers to governance in the north part of our country. In south, no one party enjoys a monopoly. A left party that is ruling West Bengal for a very long period of time, it has to struggle in Kerala, and there are so many other examples as well. If you want to see more examples, if you want to read more examples, then I want you guys to go through this article. It is available in the Mint newspaper. Sorry, not Mint, Times of India newspaper, right? It is available. You can go through it if you want to see more examples. So in South India, no one party enjoys a monopoly, right? Every 5 years, if you don't perform, the next year your opposition, right? People will vote for that party, and they will come in power. Again, same thing applies to this current ruling party. So they have to keep on performing, right? They cannot sit down, and citizens are quite active as well over there. The thing is, empowered citizens are in a position to demand basic rights. Like if a citizen is more aware, if a family is more aware, if they are discussing things regarding politics, what's going on in their locality, what's going on in their state or in country, if you have this sort of active, well-aware, well-educated, healthy families, right, then these forceful citizens will keep governments on their toes. See what happened in Gujarat. Ahmedabad Municipal Commissioner, I know that person for a very long period of time, right? Not personally, but I have seen that person's work. His name is Vijay Nehra. And my personal opinion is that that person is an IAS officer. He is outstanding person, right? As far as work is concerned, I don't know him personally, as I told you, but his work, professional performance is extraordinary. The reason I believe he is transferred is because COVID testing and COVID testing were done quite aggressively over there, and numbers were going up. Numbers going up is not bad, as I told you, but then as well, to save the face and image, he was transferred. In Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, by contrast, aggressive testing is encouraged. That the more testing will be done, the more numbers will go up, but that's fine. It's all about mortality, isn't it? Keeping the mortality rate down, that's the main success benchmark. So you can see here in Gujarat, things are a bit different. In Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, things are different. So the bottom line is, right, these two things: stable political competition between parties as well as assertive citizenry. This is something that will create a model, or this is where you will see governance. If you have these two things, then parties, bureaucracies, they have to deliver. They cannot indulge in this religious hate and decisiveness and other things. They have no choice. Bureaucracy is, where you have this partisan politics. So bureaucracy is also, caught up in this religious hate and other things, in divisiveness and things. But when you have this enlightened or well-educated people, then bureaucracy, they have to perform as well. Moving on to COVID has woken the world up to the threat that China poses. Trust. Trust is something that is very difficult to gain, but it is very easy to break. Once the trust is gone, once the trust is broken, right, then it becomes nearly impossible to repair it. It's like a crack in a diamond. That's what I think the trust is, right? If once the trust is gone, then that's like a crack in a diamond. You cannot repair it. You cannot feviquick it. So China is going through the same situation at present. China has lost its one of the most important thing, and that is image, right? China cannot be trusted. That's what, and this is not a propaganda. This is something that China has created for itself. A few days ago, remember, we were talking about this whole philosophy of Deng Xiaoping, how he advised that hide your capacities and bide your time. But Xi Jinping has been behaving very aggressively from last few years. The second point why China has lost its image and why people are pointing fingers towards China is because on one side you have Mr. Donald Trump. He came to power in the US, and the third thing that destroyed or that uncovered or that took away this mask that was there on China's face is this COVID-19 virus. So despite initial furious opposition from China, 116 countries have recently passed a motion for an independent investigation into the origins of coronavirus. China was behaving very aggressively. China was resisting, and it tried every single trick in its book to resist it, but it failed. Same thing applies with World Health Organization. Its reputation has taken a beating. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about this thing, but Xi Jinping's wife, Pen Liuan, is one of the WHO's goodwill ambassador. At the same time, she holds a very strong, a very important rank of Major General in People's Liberation Army. So you can see a clear connection between WHO and China's ruling party. China very aggressively denied about conducting investigation and everything, and then later on, when it realized that people are going to oppose and countries are going to oppose this thing, then it started supplying good things like a good health player. It acted like a noble, global health player. It started supplying PPE kits and gloves and sanitizers and so many other things to various different countries. But many people are not aware about this fact that Chinese state-backed companies had started stockpiling medical supplies like surgical masks, thermometers, antibacterial wipes, gloves, hand sanitizers, so many other things, right? They were accumulating this thing. Somewhere they started doing this thing in late December and early January. They should have informed the world about this virus, but at that point of time, they were keeping these things. They were very discreet, right? It was kept very, under the carpet rather than showing the world or alerting the world about this whole coronavirus thing. China tried to spread a rumor that the pathogen has actually been planted in China by USA. And the way China's response to the world's accusation has evolved over the last couple of months, this thing has been quite revelatory. I believe Australia is a very, I think Australian government is very strong at present, and Australia is, as far as I know, is a fearless country. Australia has been one of the prime mover of the call for the investigation, and the way Beijing has acted on this call for the investigation is quite surprising. Beijing has banned beef imports from 4 Australian producers. Beijing has imposed 80% tariffs on Australian barley, and it has also threatened Australia that it will do similar things on wine and dairy products of Australia. There are many people in Australia, some prominent people, they have also used this statement that Australia is a giant kangaroo that serves as a dog of the USA. And there are so many other things that you will find online. If you want to find more examples, again, you have to go through this. There are so many examples given in this article. Go through the Mint newspaper and you will find a few examples what this Chinese media has said about USA and other countries. And you know that recently they have started being a bit aggressive in this border area of Ladakh and North Sikkim. We were talking about this thing a few days ago. Remember, I showed you all the maps and everything. And a few days ago, we were also talking about this Nepal's aggressive behavior. In Nepal, you have this Communist Party, and the world knows it very well. We know this thing very well, that Beijing is supporting Nepal. So it's not Nepal, but it is indirectly Beijing is behaving aggressively with India and other countries, because these countries are demanding a thorough investigation. Moving on to next item, this one is a perennial topic of our country associated with the agriculture and farming. So recently, Chhattisgarh government came out with this. It launched this Rajiv Gandhi Kisan Nyay Yojana last week, and the main aim is to supplement the income of the state's 18 lakh rice, maize and sugarcane farmers by 10,000 to 13,000 per acre through direct cash transfers. We know that PM Kisan scheme is also going on that provides 6,000 rupees per year support to farmers who are owning less than 5 acres of land. But now this one is applied to everyone, I think, after this 2019 election. Prime Minister Modi said that this will be applied to every farmer, small, big, doesn't matter, it applies to everyone. So Telangana, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, they already have this sort of cash transfer programs early on. I think before this PM Kisan, this states, they used to have, like, I think it was Telangana who started this whole, Telangana or Andhra Pradesh, not sure. But this were the states, they used to have this thing, this cash transfer or sort of support system for their farmers before this PM Kisan. Anyway, for balancing the interests of the consumer and the farmers, India has an extensive MSP, that is minimum support price regime, which works in combination with PDS. But its performance is not that great. We know it very well. There are so many PDS shops around our country. There are so many MSP declared by various different states and governments at various different point of time. But then as well, we find that Kisans or our farmers are not doing that great. They are still struggling, and not every farmer is getting this fixed MSP at 1.5 times the cost of production. So these are not perfect, you can say, Sigma 6 things. They have their loopholes, they have their flaws. What we need is, there are so many reforms, like throughout the year we find so many different articles in various different newspapers, and there are so many great people, they know about agriculture. There are a few points that are common. For example, this income support thing is just for your owners. What about your tenants, and what about the laborers? Are you providing them any support, right? Then 6,000 rupees per year is not that big amount. We know we need to sort out this supply chain. This whole farm supply chain needs to be sorted out. Now recently government has injected few reforms, like APMC is outdated now. APMC is not applied anymore. You can directly sell your items. The farmers can directly sell their produce to consumers. But how we are going to do it? Right, ENAM was launched a few years ago, but ENAM has not been that effective. I'm not saying it is altogether rubbish, but it is not, means it is still hitting under the belt, right? It is not performing optimally. And its potential is great, mind you. I must tell that ENAM is It can be a game changer. If we tweak it and if we make it a bit more, if we fine tune it, then it can be a game changer for farmers. Then we have this messy land records. We need to have digital land records. We need to have proper contract farming. Pan India, there should be stricter rules and regulations. Still, we follow unscientific as well as unsustainable crop patterns, like in parts of Maharashtra. They struggle with water, but then as well you find sugarcane plantations over there. So this is totally unscientific as well as unsustainable. And market linkages, of course, we know how it works. And then when I say how it works, I mean to say I'm talking about this APMC, that we need cold storage facility, processing facilities at grassroots level. These are the things that are missing. So these are some big things. If you don't change these things, then your reforms are not going to be that result producing. Moving on to next item, danger in the air. This one is about this catastrophic end of PK8303. I'm talking about this Karachi aircraft accident, right? Now the thing is, air safety is one of the most important thing. Like, air travel is one of the safest route or safest mode of travel. But the problem is, from last nearly 60 days, so many aircrafts, they were grounded, and now they are coming back in action. So it is important that all those safety checklists, right, they should be checked. Health and safety should be given utmost importance. When I say health and safety, this covers this health and safety of an aircraft, not just people but aircraft as well. You have to thoroughly check it. And Pakistan and PIA, they are established flag carrier, but then as well their track record is not that impressive when it comes to air safety record. And we need to learn, the world needs to learn from this incident, that when you are going to deploy your aeroplanes after 60 days or after 70 days, make sure that you do a thorough check, right? There should not be any sort of leniency. Any sort of leniency should not be tolerated. There should be no half measures, right? Even if it's going to be costly, you should do a thorough check. And then travel guidelines are being issued by Health Ministry. This infographic you will find on the first page of the Hindu newspaper, so you can go through it. There are a few basic guidelines for international travelers, like 14-day home quarantine and things like that. Moving on to next item. This is a new item for you guys, I'm sure. This one is about a problem that is going on between between Kenya and Somalia. I don't know why Kerala came in my mind. Too much of Kerala, isn't it? Anyway, sorry. Let's move on. Somalia and Kenya. A very interesting, very new topic for you guys, I believe. So first of all, let us locate where you find these two countries. So here is Kenya, here is Somalia. This is Indian Ocean. India is not far from here, and we have some historical ties because of this Indian Ocean trade and other things. Now, Somalia is a country that has been in news because of infamous for terrorism, AlShabaab, and then piracy and other things. Though people and culture, beautiful country, beautiful people, right? But you have these problems going on for a very long period of time in Somalia. Same thing applies to Kenya as well. Now on your screen you can see that this is Somalia's claim. Somalia is claiming that their water boundaries extends up to here. Kenya is saying their water boundary extends up to here. So this whole area is a sort of a disputed area. This is somewhere around, we are talking about, how much? 1 lakh square kilometer area. This is not a small area. This is a big area that we are talking about. And the reason both these countries are interested in this area or behind this area is because, as per seismic surveys, it is believed that oil and gas deposits, huge oil and gas deposits, are here in this area. So now you know the reason why they are against each other. Now Somalia is trying to restore universal suffrage after 5 decades in upcoming general election, but COVID-19 is spreading quite rapidly in Somalia. Things are not that great in Somalia as far as health facilities are concerned, and on 8th June, public hearings at the International Court of Justice on Somalia's maritime dispute with Kenya will be deferred yet again because of coronavirus. The thing is, earlier on, back in 2009, these two countries were performing quite well as far as this disputed area is concerned. Like, they were cooperating and they were ready to negotiate. But back in 2011, Kenya dispatched troops in Somalia to hit AlShabaab. AlShabaab is Al-Qaeda's affiliate. So Somalia was not happy with this thing. Then there is a struggle going on in Somalia, like there are a few people or a few groups, they are asking for an independent Jubaland that is here. So Kenya is supporting this Jubaland demand, right? And of course, Somalia is not happy with this Jubaland thing, and Kenya's backing to this semi-autonomous Jubaland region. So Somalia finally petitioned ICJ in 2014, and 2017 Somalia won the symbolic victory of sorts in February 2017, but Kenya has not accepted this whole ruling, and now African Union has stepped in as well. It is acting as a sort of mediator. It wants to act as a mediator so that out-of-court settlement can be sorted out between these two nations, but because of coronavirus, things are going to be difficult, and it is going to be delayed as well. So let's wait and watch about this thing. So I think this was a new topic for you guys. I'm not sure how many of you were aware about this thing, but if not, then here you go. I have explained some basic things about this two nations here as far as this particular dispute is concerned. Moving on to next item, failing to perform as a constitutional court. Now, I don't have to explain this pain of migrant laborers. We have gone through so many news items, we have gone through so many articles on this thing, and I'm sure you have watched so many videos and other things. They have no work, no source of income, no access to basic necessity, no quality testing facilities, no protective gear, no means to reach home. Clear violation of their fundamental rights, and the sad thing is Supreme Court has failed to satisfactorily acknowledge this thing. When Supreme Court's doors were knocked, the Supreme Court said that how we can do it, how we are going to do it, and it was quite negative in its stand. It was acting like a weak institution rather than a strong institution. Supreme Court is capable of sorting these things out. I'm not saying that Supreme Court should do each and everything, but here fundamental rights of citizens were grossly violated, and Supreme Court was watching it from ivory towers, like watching it from a safe distance. It was just observing things rather than acting. Only the Supreme Court can enforce accountability when it comes to central government, when it comes to matters pertaining to two or more states, or when it comes to state or state and center, or states and center, right? It is the Supreme Court that can enforce. It is duty bound as well. That's what Supreme Court is there for. Now, we have to understand this thing, that Constitution does not fall silent in times of crisis, no matter what crisis are there. But we have Constitution, right? Constantly it is there, and we have to follow it. We cannot ignore constitutions and fundamental rights when we are going through some sort of crisis. PILs were filed, but PILs are like a specific instrument designed to ensure the protection of the rights of the poor, downtrodden and vulnerable, and any member of the public can seek appropriate directions on their behalf. PILs in fact ought to be a collaborative effort between court and all the parties, so that everyone can come together and find a solution for a problem. But the Supreme Court has failed in this thing. Supreme Court has time for billion-dollar cricket administration. It has time for grievances of a high-profile journalist. But when it comes to migrants, Supreme Court has not been that decisive, and Supreme Court has, I think, failed. I will agree with the writer of this article. He is justice. He has been Chief Justice of 2 different high courts. At least 4 high courts, Karnataka, Madras, Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat High Court, have started asking questions about migrant people's rights. And this is almost a reply to what happened during emergency, where high courts boldly stood up and recognized violations, but were overruled eventually by Supreme Court. So that's basically everything. Moving on to news items, dear friends. COVID-19 cases, India now in top 10. A special train to northeast attacked in Bihar. No troops detained by China, has been said by Indian Army. Center seeks efficacy of Ayurveda. And Patanjali proposes drug trial in Indore. And that's everything. More news items. Please make sure you go through the Hindu newspaper. As far as articles are concerned, I have explained all important articles, and I have already shared this PDF for you guys, so you can download it from my Telegram channel. I'll see you soon with daily financial news analysis. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.